Awesome. We are going to look at our DMR to start us off. So get ready to review and ask questions on anything that you did not understand. Let me share my screen. Beautiful. There we go. So we are going to go to yesterday's DMR and take a look. We'll open up my Active Inspire so I can write on it. Okay. Overall, we're doing pretty well. These are skills that we have been working on either at the beginning of the year or they are skills that we have just learned. So the good news is what we have learned from the beginning of the year seems to be staying fresh in our mind, and what we have just learned has stuck. So yesterday there was a great question. That question came from William, and he said, Ms. Sousa, yesterday this was a subtraction problem, so I typed the word subtract because you asked me if you wanted me to add or subtract. And I said, William, you are right. That is very confusing. That is how that looks. However, this is telling you to add or subtract based on what symbol you see. So it actually wants a numerical answer, okay? It's not asking you if this is addition or subtraction, because by now we should know that as we've used these signs since kindergarten. It's asking you what the answer is, okay? There was no regrouping inside of this. We did very well. Our ones place should have been an 8. Our tens place should have been a 9 because 1 plus 8 is 9. And then, oh, well, there is some regrouping, but not collecting. Our 9 plus our 2 is 11 tens, which would look like 1,198. So this is what you should have typed. If it told you that you were wrong yesterday, that's probably because you did what I just did and added a little comma when it only wanted numbers. But if this were the quiz on Friday, I would still count that as right. So don't worry if you have the right number, but that comma threw you off, okay? The answer to this kind of problem is called a sum. When we add, it is called a sum. We did well on that one too. Next one, we rocked 7 times 9. Y'all were very clearly using your 7 song or your 9's finger tricks because you knew that that was 63. Number sentence fact families, we did well on this too. We know that we had a 7 and there's not a 7 here, so that must be what goes there because there's an 8, there's an 8, there's a 56, there's a 56. So 7 was what was missing. So they are related in that 7 times 8 equals 56. And then we can divide 56 by 8 or 7 to get the other. 11, a question.
7 times 9, I didn't have to use any of the songs on the fingers because I knew that right away.
Boom, fluency, kiddo. That's what it's called. I love it. Getting fluent. That's what happens when we practice. Excellent. Down here, divide. The answer is called the quotient. 64 divided by 8 is 8. You want to talk about fluency? I'll teach you something. My elementary teacher taught me that 8 times 8, this is from Miss McEldowney, y'all, equals 64. And she taught me to memorize it like this. Pretend these 8s are snowmen. And snowmen are made out of snow, so they're very cold. So 64, they need sticks for the fire to keep them warm because 64 sounds like sticks for. That's how I memorized 8 times 8. 8 times 8 is 64 because the snowmen need sticks for their fire. Goofy, but it worked for me. All right, yesterday you looked at this equation and you determined what you were going to do, and we figured out it was comparing, so we were going to subtract. Today it is asking you, what is the problem above asking about? How many blanks did the church collect for kids age 5 to 11 than kids age 12 to 15? Well, right here, my evidence says the church collected, look, question, church collect, answer, church collect. Toys for kids, and kids are between those ages, so that makes sense. So I should have selected toys. This question is about toys. This word problem is about toys. Questions, concerns, comments, Aiden G.
So when I clicked on toys, it said it was wrong, and it said The answer was more toys.
Oh, you're right, because it's for than, that word than. See, Aiden, keeping me on my toes. You're on it. It would be how many more toys. Good call. Miss Sousa made a mistake. How many more toys? And the reason is because we are comparing the 5 to 11 to the 12 to 15. Gold star for Aiden, catching the teacher, making mistakes. Look at me,
Me too.
even adults. You too. Nice to own them, Terrence. We can't learn from mistakes if we don't owe them. So what I just learned is I need to slow down. I was going too fast. All right, anything else? Beautiful. Aiden's feeling pretty proud of himself. Look at that smile. I can see it. He's feeling like a big dog. All right, kiddos, you should. Good catch. On your Seesaw activities, we have another activity that is going to be released to you shortly. It is from your math textbook, okay? Before you get started on opening up that activity, I am going to play the textbook video for you. It's only 1 minute and 37 seconds, but it's full of good information and 2 stopping points that we will discuss. So watch and think about it, and then we will dive right into what it is teaching in our textbook.
How can you find the area of a figure? Mike wants to paint a wall in his room. A small can of paint covers 40 square feet. Does Mike need more than 1 small can to paint a rectangular wall of his room? To find out, we need to know the area of the wall in Mike's room. One way is to count the square units to find area. Each square unit represents 1 square foot. There are 48 square units. The area of Mike's wall is 48 square feet. Another way is to count the number of rows and multiply by the number of squares in each row. How many rows are there? How many squares in each row?
Select your answer.
All right, so how many rows are there? We know that rows go straight across. So I can see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows. So that's telling me that this is probably my answer, but I'm going to check to make sure that there are also 6 squares in each row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are. So there are 8 rows with 6 squares in each row.
There are 8 rows and 6 squares in each row. Multiply to find the area of the wall. 8 times 6 equals 48. The area of Mike's wall is 48 square feet. Will Mike need more than 1 small can of paint?
All right, I'm looking
Select
at you
your answer.
for your cameras. The square or the paint covers 40 square feet. His wall is 48 square feet. Will he need more than 1 can? Yes, thumbs up. No, thumbs down. Is he going to need more than 1 can? He's got 48 square feet to cover. He has a can that covers 40. I'm going to write that because y'all are scaring me. His wall is 48 square feet. He's got to get all the way over here from 0. His can of paint only covers 40 square feet. So does he need more? Good, that visual helped us. Yes, he does. He needs more paint because he only has 40 square feet and he needs 48. He won't need a full can, but he is going to need another can.
Yes, he will need more than 1 small can of paint.
Now you know different ways to find the area of a figure.
All right, so this is what we're going to work on today. Yesterday, we worked on counting itsy bitsy, teensy tiny, individual tiny little squares. Raise your hand if you thought this is annoying and it's going to take me way too long and I can't do this for the rest of my life. Yep, I did too. So the good news is we're going to learn a shorter way today, which is multiplication, using multiplication to solve that. Levin, did you have a question?
No, I was just raising my hand without raising my real hand.
Virtually raising hands. I love it. All right. So on Seesaw right now, you have an activity that has been released to you called Area, Lesson 6-4, Area of Squares and Rectangles. Okay. We're going to open up this together with your teacher. We're going to review the success criteria. We've watched that textbook video, and we're going to click on Add Response. You're going to complete slides 1 through 8 with me. You will do slides 9 through 14 later. Okay, so go ahead and add that response. Again, as you're pulling it up, I will remind you, I suggest you make your screen smaller with Seesaw and put your zoom over here in the empty space so that you can see my screen at the same time as you can see your screen. I will keep my screen larger because you will need to see it, so that will make it easier for you. But I suggest you have both screens right next to each other. Splitting your screen is what that is called. Okay, all right. Slide 1 with your teacher. Here we go. Slide 2. We just learned about a guy painting a wall. Now we've got a guy that is going to carpet a square room. It says Jorge is carpeting a square room. One side of the room is 6 meters long. We see that here. How many square meters of carpet does Jorge need? Solve this problem any way you choose. Okay, what do we know about squares? If this side is 6, show me with your fingers. What is this side? Good. It is also 6. Squares have the same size, shape on every side, have the same size side on each side of the shape. Very good. So we have an equation here that we can work out. We know the area, and we know this from our trusty dusty notes. Area is the same as length times width. Ooh, I'm backwards. Length times width. So we can multiply the long side by the wide side. So that will look like this. I just realized I wasn't writing in the right place. Square room, 6 meters long, 6 meters long over here. So we could, if we wanted to, draw individual teeny tiny little squares so that we had 6. That's going to take me too long, and I think it's a terrible idea. So instead, I'm going to multiply 6 of my length times 6 meters of my width. I'm writing, you're writing. So now I can multiply with the lovely song that Terrence loves so much. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. 36. Ha ha ha. He needs 36 square. Remember, we learned this yesterday. If we're working in area, we've got to have our label of square. 36 square meters. This is how many he would need. Aiden, did you have a question? Aiden L, I apologize. Yes.
I'm not on the thingy yet.
Okay, you're opening up Seesaw. That's where it is. You don't need to go to the textbook online. Just go to Seesaw. Thank you, Aiden G. I love the song too. So this would be a way that you could solve it. This is going to be your most efficient, which is your quickest way to work on area. You also could have used your shapes tool and built an array of 6 squares by 6 squares. That's another way. But we're going to try to move more efficiently and more quickly through our work so that we can be better workers. We can accomplish more, right? Work smarter, not harder. This we all know how to do, but it's a lot harder because it takes time. This we know how to do, so we can get to it. All right. Slide 3. This was the example from the video. So if you are feeling stuck and you don't know what to do, you can come here and review. Guys, I am making rhymes left and right. Did you hear that? So if you are feeling stuck, this is a great way to come back and read. And it gives you step by step, one way to solve, another way to solve. So this is like what we did. One way would be what we did yesterday. Put the squares and count all 48 tiny individual teeny tiny little squares, or multiply. Okay, it's showing you the two ways to solve. So no work to do here, just an example to review.
Put stuck.
You can if you want to remind you that you're stuck there, but I was just doodling. All right, let's go on to slide 4. It says, follow along with your teacher. That's me. I'm your teacher. Follow along with your teacher. It says, Suji's garden is 4 yards long and 4 yards wide. What is the area of Suji's garden? Guys, it just told us the equation. Area is the same as length times width. And it just told me it's 4 and 4. Boom, I have an equation. So let's write that equation out. Area, and that's a capital A. That's what that represents. Area is equal to length times width. And that's a lowercase l. It's not a 1, so sometimes I write it in cursive. It's an L, a lowercase l. Area is equal to length times width. Leah likes cursive, so she just got excited by that lowercase l. And William, you look like you've gone to heaven, sir. There's just sun rays of glory coming over your face. Oh, he's returned. He's back to earth. All right. Now, when we know that area is equal to length times width, now we can multiply. So our area is equal to the 4 for how long it is, times the 4 for how wide it is. Area is equal to 4 times 4 for this shape of Suji's garden. Now we know that that equals 4, 8, 12, 16. Boom, 16. But guess what? My answer is wrong. Oh, I think Josh knows why, because he stuck his hand over his head. Josh, why is 16 wrong? Tell me.
I wasn't doing that.
Oh,
On the bottom one.
gotcha. But I bet you can figure it out anyway, can't you?
It's
Why is 16 wrong? What do we need?
centimeters.
Look back in the word problem. Suji's garden is 4 what?
Yards.
Yes, we need yards. So yards, now I am 1/3 of the way to a correct answer. I'm still missing part of my correct answer. What do I always have to have inside of area, guys? What do I always need? Leah.
Square.
Squared. That is right. Now, here's something funky. I could write 16 square yards. I could also write 16 yards squared. You can say it forwards or backwards. Isn't that weird? But you can. So either way, you could put 16 square yards or 16 yards squared. Now I have a complete correct answer. Yay. Let's look at number 2 together. I'm going to switch colors so it's easy to keep my work separated. The area of Michi's garden is 32 square feet. Wait a minute, they just told me the area. Huh. The garden is 8 feet long. How wide is Michi's garden? Okay, let's take a look at this. Let's write our equation again. Area is equal to length times width. And again, I'm using that cursive lowercase l to show that it's not a 1, because a lowercase 1 or l can look like a 1, and then it looks like 1 times something, and that's confusing. So
I'm using
that
cursive
L.
now.
Beautiful. She's got it. So area is equal to length times width. Now let's plug in what we know. Michi's garden has an area of 32 square feet. So the whole thing is equal to 32. Okay. The garden is 8 feet long. So where we see this L for long, I'm going to plug in an 8. times, we don't know. Look, the width, that's the question. How wide is Michi's garden? We don't know. So wait a minute, now we're not multiplying. We've got to figure out what's missing. Guess what we can do? We know the 8s and we know how to multiply by 8. So I can multiply by 8 until I get to 32. You got 8, 16, 24, 32. How many times did I multiply? 4. 8, 16, 24, 32. So the width equals 4. Now, I do not need squared in my answer because the question is not about area. The question is about, oh, oops, that's the wrong thing. There we go. The question is about width. How wide is Michi's garden? I can't leave it as 4 because then I'm going to think you're showing me 4 purple unicorns flying through space. And you're not. But it's for what, Terrence? How wide is Michi's garden? For what?
Square.
That's for the whole area. I just need the label. Look back here. Look. Yes, feet. Good job, Terrence. It's 4 feet. We use the equation to figure that out. Right here, look. Square feet. It's feet. How wide is the garden? 4 feet. See that? Yes, so we had feet. Good job, Leah. 4 feet. Levin, a question.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, he's got it.
The answer's taking a long time.
We've got it. All right, 4 feet. Okay, so that is how long the garden is. So this equation right here is going to be very helpful to us. Area is equal to length times width. And it's going to be super helpful when they tell us the area, but we're missing the length or the width. Okay, because then we're going to know what we're multiplying by and what we have to stop at, what our product is. Okay. Questions on how to solve 1 or 2. Questions on how to solve problems 1 or 2. When I don't hear questions, it tells me that people understand and are going to do awesome. Okay, I'm seeing questions. Great. Jalen, question.
Are we doing division or multiplication?
Area is typically solved with multiplication, but you're right to notice the connection. When we are missing a dimension, such as length or width, we do think of it as solving into division because the question now becomes how many groups of 8 can I fit? So you're right to notice that connection, but when we solve area, we're going to multiply most often. Okay, great noticing on that connection. All righty, slide 5. Follow along with your teacher. That's me. I'm your teacher. All right. In 3 and 4, find the area of each figure. I want to get this equation memorized in your heads. So let's write it. Area is equal to length times width. Area is equal to length times width. So if we have been asked to find the area, we are going to multiply our length times our width, okay? Our length is going to be our longest side, that is 7 inches. Length is the longest side, that is 7 inches. Our width is 3 inches. So area of this figure is 7 times 3. We can use our 7 song or our 3 song. 7, 14, 21. That's 3 times and it's 21. Let's see if the 3 song gives us the same. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. Yep, times 7. So the area is equal to 21 square inches. If I don't have square inches, I'm going to think you're telling me about how long something is or how wide something is. If I have square, I know you're telling me it's how long and wide inside of that whole space. It's the area. That square is what tells me it is area. Okay. All righty, let's look at number 4. This says, find the area. Again, let's memorize that formula. Area is equal to length times width. I'm just writing it because I like the cursive L. No, I'm kidding. I'm writing it because it's important for us to memorize. So we know that we are trying to find the area because that's what it said, find the area. So the A is going to stay. That's the area and we don't know it yet. So we're going to represent it by an A. The length is going to be the longest side of my shape. That is 9. And now I am multiplying by 6. 9 times 6. So that's my width is 6. So the area will be the product to 9 times 6. So my area is equal to, well, on my 9s, I could use my finger trick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gives me 5 10s and 4 1s. So that's 54, where I could use my 6 songs. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36 and 42 and 40, or 42 and 48, 54. Hey, same answer, 54. So my area is equivalent to 54. And again, I've got to have that area label. And this time we're talking about feet. Even if I don't know what that label means, like even if I look at FT and I say, what in the world is that? It's what's in the problem, so it's what I'm going to put in my answer as well. Okay? Those labels are very easy ways to get great points for yourself and to mark yourself as correct. So the area of this shape, the space inside of it would be 54 square feet. Questions on how I found the area by multiplying, because notice these don't have those tiny squares in them, so I can't count it this way. Okay. Number 6 and 7, just 6 is in your breakout room. You have 3 problems to solve. You're going to solve 5, you're going to solve 6, you're going to solve 7. I want to set you up for success, so I want you to write the equation under each one now. So let's write area equals length times width under each shape. That way you remember that when you get into your breakout room. Area, equals length times width. Put that under each shape so you remember what dimensions you are going to plug in. Okay. Area equals length times width under each one of these shapes. I'm going to put you into your breakout room with a partner, and with your partner, you are going to, to solve numbers 5, 6, and 7, which is on slide 6. It says in 5, 6, and 7, in 5 and 6, find the area. In 7, find the missing length. We've solved one of each of these kinds of problems. So if you or your partner forget, you have the example. You also have the 4 that we just solved together. And look, there's one where a dimension is missing on slide 2. And there they are where we have both dimensions but need the area. Okay? So you and your partner are going to solve all of slide 6. All of slide 6. Okay? You with me? Solving all of slide 6. Okay, I'm getting ready to open up your rooms, and when you get back, we will review the correct answers together. Here come your breakout rooms. Bye. Alrighty, welcome back from your breakout rooms. You should have completed all or most of slide 6. Some of you shared you needed more time, and I will note that as I prepare for breakout rooms next time. You were asked to find the area of shape rectangle 5. This is area of length times width. The length is the longest side, so it is 3 times 1. That gives you an area of 3 square centimeters, or 3 centimeters squared. For number 6, you were again asked to find the area. Area is equal to length times width. The length is the longest side, so in this case, it's on the left and right. Area is equal to 9 times 4, which gives you a product of 36 square feet, or feet squared. And for number 7, you had a missing dimension. Your width was missing. Your area is equal to your length times your width. Your area was 35, which is equal to 7 times question mark. If we use our 7s to multiply, 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, boom. We multiplied 5 times. We said the 7 factors 5 times. So your missing dimension, your width, is a 5. I'll give you a few moments to copy anything that you may need to copy down. And I will also take questions at this time on something that anyone did not understand or wanted more information about. Any questions about any of these equations? All right. Give you a couple more seconds to keep recording.